So the update is already live on the Korean servers, and now we know exactly what's changing and what not, and not just relying on some translation from the patch notes. So how is Scout affected by this? So first, let's talk about PVE. And for PVE, Scout actually just got a huge buff. Why? Because there are three things changing. First, decisive sniping is right now has 85% damage against monster, but this will be increased to 110. However, I'm not using decisive sniping for my rotation. As you can see right now, I'm not using the skill. I use it sometimes just for testing purpose, but still I'm doing more damage with this one, so I'm sticking to this. Then we got that Brutal Arrow is also increasing the damage not just against stun and bound enemies, but also to oppress enemies. And why this is important? Because bosses cannot be stunned or bound, but they can be oppressed. So if you rely on Brutal Arrow damage for that, you now have an extra 40% damage to bosses. However, I don't use Brutal Arrow just for the damage. I use it for this specialization, to apply the Gale area, so that is constantly applying Gale, so I can explode it with Zephyr. That's why I'm using Brutal Arrow. And then we get to the most important chain. As you can see here, right now I'm not using, and here, right now I'm not using neither ensnaring arrow nor steady aim, because for me it was not worth it. This configuration, this skill loadout, was giving me better results. But what's the difference now? The difference is that steady aim is going to have an extra 20% critical damage to oppress targets. And that means basically to bosses. It's not for PvP, it's just for bosses. So now I will want to make this here, move this, probably replacing this one, replacing the piercing strike, and I will need to add ensnaring arrow here, and I don't know which one I will remove. Probably I'm going to just remove weak point shot and just leave it for my rate skill bar, because it's different. I think for my regular bosses I will just replace weak point shot with ensnaring arrow, because you want to have the higher uptime possible of oppress, because that will benefit the critical damage boost from this. And also, in terms of masteries, right now I'm not using this one. This one actually applies or has a chance to apply a bind or an oppress when you are using active skills from the longbow. That means when you are attacking with strafing, with Zephyr, etc. And I'm not using it, but I will need to use that. So I don't know yet which one I will remove, because both are good, so I still need to test. But this one will be enabled for sure, okay? Also, I just noticed while recording this video that this is wrong. I need to enable this one already, because I have over 80 wisdom now. I didn't have it earlier. Just for the record, this is my build, my PVE build, and these are my stats. And the other good thing that is coming regarding both PVE and actually PvP is Belander. This is the normal crossbow we have now. I don't have it upgraded. I haven't upgraded yet, because I just got 7 like the past week or something like that. So I need to get the fragments for Belander. However, the upgraded Belander, the one that they are updating, is actually having more damage than the heroic crossbow. it's having an extra 8 perception. And the updated effect is actually good. It's boosting more the poison. So I think for a scout like myself, because I don't focus into bonus damage, Belander is going to be the best crossbow now. Instead of Lucien, instead of Ackman, instead of Malakar, just upgraded Belander with the new stats and the new damage and basically all that. But still I need to get the fragments. Why? Because it's going to be 13 dexterity, 22 bonus damage, 8 perception, and stamina regen. Stamina regen is quite important, and I will show you a video now about why. But many people sleep on stamina. Stamina is the thing that is preventing you to get one shot most of the time. But people don't block. People just use the stamina for running, and well, that's the difference between when you know people complain about, hey, I'm getting one shot, this sucks, blah 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 blah, and people who actually survive that. I will show you some clips later in this video. Because the last chain is Nimble Leap. Okay, this is a specialization in Nimble Leap. Yes, it will have a cooldown now, a 3 seconds cooldown. What does this mean? This means that you can no longer freely move in the battlefield and not getting stunned at all. For example, what was people doing? People was doing something like this. Let me switch to PvP, for example. People was all the time, blam, blam, all the time immune. And if you add a multi-shot to the equation, let's add multi-shot, for example, here. Let me reload this. What will happen is that you have scorpions or you have a scout who are all the time pam, 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 getting immune all the time, and that sucks. But the good thing is that as a scout, this should not matter to you, because you should not be first using multi-shot. That's a waste of a skill slot. You have better choices. And secondly, you should not get to the point where you are getting all the time trying to avoid people. You have better tools for that. For example, snaring arrow. So having said that, these are the changes that are coming for us in global on Thursday. And I'm really looking forward for that, because the damage boost is going to be significant in PVE. I think the Liberators are going to get more benefit from this than us as a scout, but still it's going to be a significant upgrade. So here I will show you some clips about, I had the idea of recording a video just dealing with melee classes, with Ravagers, with Gladiators, with Shadow Dancer, because these are the most complaint. Usually people have that. They one-shot you, then they ban you, they kill you, blah 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 blah. That is just a skill and a build issue. You can deal with them with no problem. And here are some clips I'm preparing for that video. Hope you enjoy this one, and see you on the next video.